ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जयो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। I welcome all the devotees for today's Bhakti Shastri class. Today we are continuing with the second part of the Bhagavad Gita, that is the chapter number 7 to 12. Especially this deals with the Bhakti Yoga, the devotional service that has to be performed to the Lord. In the first part, that is from chapter number 1 to 6, we have studied mostly about the Karma Yoga, the activities that we perform, and the activities are the cause of bondage, and same kind of activity, when it is applied in a different way, it can create the relief, or it can help us to come out of the bondage. This is explained, and finally in the 6th chapter the Lord concludes that the highest yogi is the one who always thinks of him. The person who is in constant meditation of the Lord, he is the greatest yogi. Now in this part, Krishna explains how to become that yogi, how to become that devotee, how to achieve that perfection. The first 6th chapter, it has kept the jiva at the center, that means the living entity, and the Lord and this material world are spoken relatively. That is, in the beginning Krishna establishes the existence of the soul, and the soul is kept at the center, and all other relations, what is the relation between the soul and the Lord, and what is the relation between the soul and the material world. In this way the conversation has taken place. Now in these 6 chapters 7 to 12, the Lord will be kept at the center, and the relation between the Lord and the jiva, and the Lord and the material world will be discussed in this part. That means the Lord is the center part, the most important importance will be given to know about the Lord. That's why it is called as Bhakti Yoga. And in the last 6 chapters, the material world is kept at the center, the knowledge about the material world, and the Lord and the Jivatma, what is the relation between that with the material world, that will be discussed. In this way there is a systematic presentation in this Bhagavad Gita that we can observe. So now, as Krishna has told in the last shloka, last text of 6th chapter, योगीनामपि सर्वेषां मद्गतेन अंतरात्मना श्रद्धावान भजते यो मां समे युक्त तमो मतः. One has to remember Krishna constantly so that he will become a devotee. Now, the devotional service, as we know, to begin with, it is the Shravana or the hearing process. In Navavidha Bhakti, the first is the Shravana, hearing. Through hearing, we start our Bhakti Yoga. The 7th chapter begins with the importance of Shravana. What is the importance of Shravana? Why we have to hear? And what is the glory of hearing? And what is the result that we get by hearing the Lord? And how rare it is to understand the Lord by hearing from the proper source. And how it is even rare for a person to achieve perfection in this path. All these things are the beginning topics in the 7th chapter. Okay, let us take the blessings of Shri Shri Radha Govinda, Shri Shri Gaurnitai, and Srila Prabhupada and begin our study of the second module of Bhagavad Gita. Shri Shri Radha Govinda ki jai, Shri Shri Gaurnitai ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Now, Srila Prabhupada is explaining here. So, this is the unit 2, second part of Bhagavad Gita. It includes 7 to 12 chapters, 6 chapters, and this part is called as Bhakti Yoga. That means the importance is given to learn about devotional service to the Lord in this part of the Bhagavad Gita. And this is the main part of the Bhagavad Gita. As that is, Prabhupada himself is explaining here. Why Bhakti Yoga is the most important. The Bhagavad Gita is divided into 3 portions. The first 6 chapters, the second 6 chapters, and the third 6 chapters. Actually, just like this book, there are 2 hardcovers, and in the middle there is the substance, that is the writing. So Prabhupada is giving the example of a book, the Bhagavad Gita book itself. It has a hardcover. So on both sides there are 2 hardcovers, and in between there is a matter or the substance. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita, the Bhakti process is protected with the karma and jnana. Both are protecting our bhakti. Just like in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it is told, jnana karmadi anavrutam. We have to use our karma and also our jnana in the service of the Lord. Then that becomes the devotional service. Anya abhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavrutam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktiruttama. So that uttama bhakti has to be performed by giving up all upadhis. But don't give up the activities, karma and jnana. Jnana shunya is not required. Karma shunya is not required. Arjuna has to fight, and he also has to have the knowledge. So fighting with the knowledge as a offering to the Lord is the devotional service. But devotion to the Lord is the most important. If there is devotion, then everything is fine. If there is no devotion, then even though there is a very good karma, the activities are very good jnana or the knowledge, but still it is not going to achieve the goal. So the first 6 chapters, they are just like 2 coverings, Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, and the middle 6 chapters well protected, that is Bhakti Yoga. This is spoken by Srila Prabhupada. He is giving the purport to the last shloka of Bhagavad Gita, 6.47. Chapters 7 through 12 are the essence of Bhagavad Gita. The first 6 chapters and the last 6 chapters are like coverings for the middle 6 chapters, which are especially protected by the Lord. So here the 7th to 8th, 12th chapter, they are the most important part. And within that, again, the 9th and 10th chapter will become the even more important. And in that, again, the ending shloka of 9th chapter and beginning shloka of 10th chapter, that becomes even more important. So as you go on to the middle of the book, it is giving the more and more important essence of the Bhagavad Gita. So in next coming classes, we will be listening to those topics, what are the most important things given in the Bhagavad Gita, which will help us in our devotional service. So this is how it is: Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. So we have crossed the Karma Yoga portion now. Next, entering the Bhakti Yoga, 7 to 12. Then after that, there will be speaking about Jnana Yoga, 13 to 17. Why 17 is taken here? 18th chapter is the complete summary of the Bhagavad Gita. So we have taken only 13 to 17. In 18th chapter, everything will come. This is the last shloka of Bhagavad Gita, last shloka of 6th chapter. Pooja Mataji, would you like to read, Mataji? Unmute yourself. You're not unmuted.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna.
Yoginam api sarvesham madgatantara atmana shraddhavana bhajate yo ma same yuktamato same yuktatamo mataha. Hare Krishna.
Read the translation.
Yes.
Is it visible, Mataji?
And yes, Prabhuji. And of all yogis, the one with great faith, who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transcendental loving service to me, he is the most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. That is my opinion. Bhagavad Gita 6.47. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So there are many types of yoga, and there are so many products or byproducts or the result that we can achieve through yoga. But the real benefit of yoga is to connect to the Lord, because the very meaning of yoga is to connect, the connection between the Jiva and the Lord, the living entity and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When that is achieved, it is the real benefit. Other than that, there are many benefits, like one can achieve the power to control the material nature, one can get very long living life, a very healthy life, or a very happy life. So all these are the byproducts. So Krishna is telling here, what is the real benefit of yoga? It is always thinking of Krishna. One who is able to do that, then he is considered as the greatest yogi. Because general public, what they think, who is the yogi? Yogi means someone who can bring some ash from the air, or who can walk on the water, or who can float on in the air. So all these are the byproducts. When a person, when he practices different types of yogas, especially the Ashtanga yoga, when a person crosses the pratyahara, then he will get all these benefits. But the real person, the real yogi, will not get distracted by all these things. If the person tries to make a show of all these things like a magic, then people will get attracted. But what happens is the person will again get attracted to the material world. The name, the fame, and the people will fall at his feet and they will worship him as God. So all these things will happen and he will lose the path. Then again, there are chances that he may again get into the sense gratification. Because a person, if he wants to practice Ashtanga yoga, the minimum qualification is he has to practice Nishkama Karma yoga. He has to give up the result of his activity for the Lord. When he becomes perfect in that, then only he can come to the Ashtanga Yoga. Then when he comes to Ashtanga Yoga again, if he gets allured by the material benefits or the results, then he is going to lose the path. Then again he has to come back to the material world, or he will behave like a ordinary person who has no interest in any kind of yoga, or he will completely lose his path, because life is very short. One has to achieve the perfection. So how to do that perfection, how to achieve that perfection, that is given in the next coming shloka. Madgatena antaratmana, that is madgatena, abiding to Krishna, abiding in me, always thinking of me. So this is the condition that Krishna is telling. Antaratmana, that is within himself. A person has to think of the Lord within himself, always being attached to the Lord, always thinking of the Lord. How can one think of anybody always? It should not be artificially thinking. It should be lovingly. It should be voluntarily. There are two kinds of people we always think of. One is our friend, other one is our enemy. We think of both always. If somebody is if we like them very much, we will keep thinking about them effortlessly. We don't make any endeavor about it. And if somebody is our enemy, then also we think of them with the hatred. So Krishna, people think of Krishna in both ways. Kamsa was always thinking of Krishna. He was also in the Krishna consciousness. But that is what kind of thinking? It is called ananukulyena. It is not favorable devotional service. It is an unfavorable devotional service. With that kind of unfavorable thinking of the Lord, one cannot become a devotee, or one cannot go back to Godhead. He will only remain within this material world. Maximum he can go to Brahma Jyoti, or the Lord will come and stop his all kinds of activities, so that he will not commit more sin. So that much the Lord will do. But a devotee, he is always thinking of the Lord anukulyena, favorably. Now by nature, we have no tendency to think of the Lord. We think of so many things else within this material world. We have so many things to speak about, think about, but we don't think about the Lord, because as long as we are having the sinful reactions, we cannot think of the Lord, or the Lord's holy name will not come in our tongue. Now, how to bring this devotional service, or how to bring the thought of the Lord in our mind? That is possible by hearing. Keep hearing the Lord, keep hearing about the Lord from the devotee of the Lord. Then gradually we get attached to the Lord. The lifestyle that our forefathers have given within this land of India is such a way that every function, every occasion that we perform, it is all surrounded, is around the Lord himself. That means anything, any festival that we perform, everything is the Lord's glory is sung. The Lord's pastimes are explained, and the Lord's prasadam is distributed. So that's why anybody who takes birth in this holy land of India, or Bharata Bhumite Janma Haila Yara, Janma Sarthaka Kari Karo Paropakara, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told. Anybody who has taken birth within this Bharata Bhumite Janma Haila Yara, Janma Sarthaka Kari, there is lot of opportunity. You can make perfection. Karo Paropakara. And also teach this knowledge to others also. So that is all the advantage of being taken birth within this land of Bharata. Now Lord is speaking in this first shloka here to Arjuna. Maya sakta manapartha yogam yunjan madashrayah asamshayam samagram mam yatha jnasasi tachrunu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, now hear, O son of Pritha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. This is a unique statement that Krishna is making here. There are many scriptures, there are so many religious practices. There are many places it is told to the people who are hearing that I want to say so many things, but you people are not ready to accept it. So I am only giving certain portion of that. But here Krishna is telling, it is the complete knowledge that I am giving. Practicing yoga in full conscious of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full. Asamshayam samagram. The word samagram is used. So by reading Bhagavad Gita, a person can understand the Lord completely. There is nothing remains incomplete if we read Bhagavad Gita seriously as a study, if we do. So Bhagavad Gita is a complete book. Even though it is the smallest book in the entire Vedic literature, Bhagavad Gita is the complete book. It has all the knowledge. And Bhagavad Gita is the ABCD of spiritual life. Prabhupada says Bhagavad Gita is the ABCD for spiritual life. Anybody who wants to begin their spiritual life, they have to read Bhagavad Gita first. That's why in ISKCON, anybody comes to devotional life, when anybody comes to the temple, first we present them Bhagavad Gita. Please read this. Read this once at least from cover to cover. And you will get all the knowledge. You will get all the understanding. Then again, you can study more and more and you can deepen your understanding. So that is the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a complete book of knowledge, devotion, and it is making our life perfect. How much we dedicate ourselves to the Lord, or how much surrender we have for the Lord, that much more benefit we can get from Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is heard by Arjuna as well as Dhritarashtra. Arjuna heard Bhagavad Gita with full surrender. So he got the full benefit. But Dhritarashtra, he could not get that benefit. He still remained as he was. If you see in Mahabharata, at the end of the war, again Dhritarashtra tries to kill Bhima. So the Dhritarashtra remained as he is. It did not make any change in his life. But Arjuna, he understood what is to be done, what is not to be done. Then he fought for the Lord. He became an instrument in the hand of the Lord. So this care we have to take, as Prabhupada says in the introduction of Bhagavad Gita. If you want to know Bhagavad Gita, first surrender. Accept Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Unless you do this, your reading of Bhagavad Gita will never be complete. If you read Bhagavad Gita thinking that Krishna is an ordinary person or a politician or an influential person or somebody who is very intelligent in making all activities, the political activities, he was very expert in that. If you just think like that about the Lord, then Bhagavad Gita is not a book for us. So if you want to really understand what is Bhagavad Gita, we should surrender to Krishna. Then only we can understand it completely. Yatha jnasasi tachrunu. Now here, O son of Pritha, how you have to hear? Yatha jnasasi tachrunu. How you know that here? That means you have to understand the Bhagavad Gita as it is, as Srila Prabhupada says. Whatever Krishna is speaking to Arjuna, as it is available to us. So this is a hearing process in Bhagavad Gita. If you see, there are so many shloka that is spoken by Lord Krishna, beginning with the second chapter. If you see the 18th chapter, it is Krishna's instruction. In the second chapter also highest, and in certain chapters, in the 7th chapter, only Krishna is speaking here. So in the 9th chapter, these are the most important chapters of Bhagavad Gita. So in this way, Krishna is giving the knowledge and Arjuna is hearing, and through Arjuna we are also getting the knowledge. Just like the calf drinks the milk, and so that milk is available for everyone. Now, what is the conclusion of the first 6 chapter of Bhagavad Gita? Anu Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Conclusion of chapters 1 to 6. One should therefore begin yoga practice as directed in the last verse of the 6th chapter. Concentration of the mind upon Krishna, the Supreme, is made possible by prescribed devotional service in the 9 different forms, of which Shravanam is the first and most important. The Lord therefore says to Arjuna, Tat Charu, or hear from him. Purport 7.1. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So Shravana is the most important, and the ear is very active sense that we have. If we want to get up early in the morning, we keep the alarm. Why? Because we are sure that if there is some sound, we can come out of sleep. Because all our senses are inactive when we are sleeping. But still the ear is active. When there is a loud sound of alarm, we can get up. Similarly, if there is some danger, if we shout at the person who is in danger, he will immediately get alert. So the Shravana is the most important object, and hearing is the most important process in understanding the Bhagavad Gita, the spiritual science. It is also true for any other knowledge also. First of all, we go and sit in the classroom, we hear, we get the theory, then we go for applying it in the laboratory. So that is Jnana and Vijnana. So Jnana means theoretical knowledge, Vijnana means practical application. But is it possible for all? Okay, the knowledge is made available in Bhagavad Gita. The Lord has distributed to all through Arjuna. But how many people are taking advantage of that? It is very, very rare. As Krishna is explaining in the next shloka. Archana Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhyate yatataamapi siddhanam kaschin mam veti tattvataha. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Bhagavad Gita 7.3. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So when we go for book distribution, there are so many people, hundreds of people, thousands of people will be there. There are only very few people who get attracted to buying the book, and they'll come and see the book and they will buy it. They take the book and keep it at home. And those people who take, so many people are there. Among them, very few people, they will open it and they will start reading. And among those people, those who read it, very, very few people, they will read it completely. And they'll come to the, come in contact with the temple or the devotees. So this knowledge, even though it is very glorious, it is so important, it is made so easily available, but still people are very unfortunate, or the perfection is very rarely achieved. So Manushyanam sahasreshu, there are so many thousands of people, kaschit yatati siddhaye. They will try to get the perfection in spiritual life. They will understand the importance of spiritual life. Most of the people, they just live like animals. they are happy with the sense gratification, and that is the completeness, that is everything for them. If I have even enough objects for my senses, then I am happy. Then yatatamapi siddhanam, one who is trying to achieve that perfection, very rarely somebody achieves the perfection, and those who achieve the perfection also, kaschin mam veti tattvataha, it is very, very difficult to understand who is the Lord. So yatatamapi siddhanam, of those who have achieved perfection, yoginamapi, this is the connection between the previous chapter and this. Kaschin mam veti tattvata, hardly one knows me in truth. So that is the rarity of understanding the Lord. Yeah, anybody want to read? They can raise their hands. Any new people? Okay, Pooja Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Kaschin Mam Vetti Tattvataha. It is not possible for the Brahman realized impersonalist or the Paramatma realized yogi to understand Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the son of Mother Yashoda, or the charioteer of Arjuna. 7.3 purpose. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So as we know, in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, we have understood by the purport of Srila Prabhupada, there are 3 levels of understanding the Lord. Vadanti tattattva vidastattvam yajnanamadvayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdate. So Brahman realization, Paramatma realization, and Bhagavan realization. These are the 3 levels of realization. Prabhupada compares this to the sun. The sunlight, sun globe, and the sun god, the person. Brahman realization is like the superficial understanding of the Lord. If we observe this material world, how everything is going on so nicely, we can understand that there is someone who is behind this. These things cannot happen on its own. Then if we are analyzing more, when a person tries to meditate on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then he can get the realization of the super soul in the heart. That is Paramatma realization. So that is Brahman and Paramatma realization. But if you want to get the Bhagavan realization, that is like going to the sun planet and meeting the person there, Vivaswan, the preceding deity. That is very, very rare, and it can be achieved only through the association of the devotees. By speculation, one cannot understand this. What is the position of the Lord? What are the activities that he has performed with the devotees? And how he is what are the different 6 opulences the Lord is having? All these things, it cannot be just, one cannot go on speculating and get this. Vedeshu durlabam adurlabam atma bhaktav. Any level of Vedic understanding, the studies one can perform, one cannot get the lotus feet of the Lord. But it is very easy when one surrenders to the Lord, when surrenders to the devotees of the Lord. So that's what Krishna is telling here. Only the Bhagavan realized person will understand the Lord completely. Bhaktamam abhijanati yavanashasmi tattvataha. Only a devotee can understand me completely. Otherwise, it is not possible. Anu Mataji.
Kaschin mam veti tattvataha yatatam api siddhanam, and out of many such perfect persons, kaschit jana kaschit mam veti tattvataha knows God. So God knowing is not very easy job, but it can be made easy by a process which is called Bhakti Yoga. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.7, New Vrindavan, September 5, 1972. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So here Krishna is continuing. Even though it is very, very difficult to know about the Lord, even though there are many yogis who try to understand the Lord for so many lifetimes, still it is not possible. But that process, if we follow the Bhakti Yoga process, it can be easily achieved. It's like the Prahlad Maharaj, he was a just 5-year-old boy. Or Dhruva Maharaj, he was a small boy of 5-year-old. So how is this possible? Even the people like the Vishwamitra or many people who perform the austerity for so many years, but still they fail. But the small boy, small child, even Narada Muni, he was a small boy when he started practicing spiritual life. How they could achieve this perfection? Because they had very innocent surrendering process, that is Bhakti Yoga. They surrendered to Narada Muni. Prahlad Maharaj heard from Narada Muni. Dhruva Maharaj heard from Narada Muni. Mrigari got the blessings of Narada Muni. So in this way, there are so many great devotees. They achieved this perfection only by the mercy of the devotees. As Srila Prabhupada also says once in one place, the devotional service to the Lord is rarely achieved. One cannot get it so easily. Then the devotees ask, Prabhupada, we have not done any kind of pious activity. Then how did we get it? Prabhupada says, I gave you. So Prabhupada has given this devotional service to us. Actually, even though we are not qualified to serve the Lord, by the mercy of the devotee of the Lord, by Srila Prabhupada's mercy, we are able to understand whatever little bit about the spirituality. So God knowing is not so easy job, but it can be made easy by a process that is called as Bhakti Yoga. In the next coming shloka, that is text number 4 to 12, there is a description of the energy of the Lord. Why we have to know about the energy of the Lord? Because we want to think of Him. If we know about someone, we can think of them. And knowing about someone means we should know how great He is. Everyone says God is great, but we don't know how great He is. When we say God is great, or maybe He is little bit more greater than me. He has little bit more energy than me. He has more fame than me, little bit more. But it is not like that. There is a lot of difference between the Jiva and the Lord. He is like the ocean. We are like the drop. We don't know what is the quantity of the ocean, how much water is there in the ocean. It's not easy to understand. But the drop is very, very small. If there is little sunlight, the drop gets vaporized. But the entire ocean, it will supply so much of water to the cloud, but still it will remain as it is. So that is the quantity, the difference. So we should understand how great the Lord is. So in the next coming verses, the Lord is explaining how great He is. So we'll have a exercise here. It's a drawing exercise. Knowledge of the Lord's energy. You need to draw images which about which there is a description in this text. That is 4 to 5 one group, 6, 7, 8 another group, 9, 10, 11 or 12 also you can join. So these are the 3 groups of shloka. So I'll make 3 groups of devotees and you can read the purport. Actually, I have given this already in the study, the reading activity. So based on that, you have to make images or the diagram, picture you have to draw. It may not be very neatly drawn or anything. The philosophy has to be understood and you can draw the diagram or the images. So there is 5 minutes time for reading and drawing and 2 minutes will be there for the presentation. If anybody has any question regarding the activity, you can raise your hand. Anybody not understood the question?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, you group 1 does 4 to 5, group 2 does 6 to 8. Is it like that, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you.
Group 1 4 to 5, 2 6 to 8, 3 9 to 11, 9 to 12. Okay, if there are no more questions, then let us start. Each group there are 3 people. Hare Krishna. Welcome back to the session. Those are presenting, please raise your hand. Anu Mataji, you can start.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, here Lord is, I have a very low brain, but what I can understand from this is he's trying to attract all of us to him.
Which shloka
like
you are doing,
when-
Mataji? Shloka?
Manji?
Shloka, which one, Mataji?
Shloka 9, 10, 11.
Okay.
Shloka
Okay.
9, 10, 11. So
Okay.
he's attracting all of us to him by telling us that he's the cause of everything, and we should have a relationship with him. That's all I can understand from him. So in the 9th, he's telling that whatever austerities we perform, sitting under the tree, sacrifice, he's that. When we say, I'm doing it for you, Lord, he's that subtle conditioning of our mind. And in 9th shloka itself, he's saying, there is heat in our fire, there is heat. That heat is Krishna. So when we eat a burger, it goes down in our stomach and it gets digested by that heat. And when we are at the end of our life, we can't digest anything because that heat is slowly ebbing away from our stomach. That is the way of Lord's telling us that we are near our end. We cannot digest. That heat is going. He's slowly guiding us that your material life is going to be over. So he's there in the form of death. So when there is no fire in stomach, we go in for a liver failure and finally a multi-organ failure. When you put a seed in the planter, it grows up. So that the root cause of that seed growing into a plant is Krishna. And in 11th, he also tells that I'm the strength of the strong. Like any person we see comes to our help, in spite of society saying, "Arey tumhe kya pada hai?" Lekin that strength, that quality is Krishna, devoid of passion and desire. And when two people get married and produce really nice children, we feel very happy that they got married and have produced such children. Like we don't like people who have bad children. So having Krishna conscious children, that thing is, Lord says, that is me coming to you people through this sort of practice and austerity. That's it, Prabhuji. He's saying all the good qualities are manifested through me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Who is going to present next? Please raise your hand. Nobody is coming forward. 2 more people have to come. Hare Krishna. Okay. Have you made the drawing? Other 2 groups? Okay, no problem. We'll continue.
Prabhuji, 1 minute. Akhila Mataji has made a drawing.
Okay.
Please try, Mataji.
Prabhuji, like this is the drawing.
Okay, no problem. Just
No, sir, no, Prabhuji, not completed. Like,
the drawing doesn't mean
partial.
that you're making some art. It is just like a representation, some block diagram. That's it.
No, Guruji, nothing like not completely studied. I mean to say.
Okay.
See here, like Lord Krishna, Shri Krishna is explaining about energies, energy, inferior energy, and superior energy, and his expansion. See, inferior energy, the earth, water, and that Sukshma Sharira, Stula Sharira, that becomes the inferior energy.
Yeah.
And the superior, Karana Sharira, or that is nothing but of Lord. Lord.
The soul itself.
Yeah. So, yeah, that is Nandita Mataji, please add.
Yeah.
I'm just continuing the last part, Prabhu, because we just exchanged our ideas.
Okay.
There is superior and inferior energy. Now, what is happening is we all have this superior energy of Krishna in us, but all the living entities forget it and they use this inferior energy of the material world. And we are, that is what we all exploit, because we forget our constitutional position as well. Although we are a part and parcel of Krishna and a spark of him, we don't even bother about that superior energy until we are, because we have this mind, intelligence, false ego, and minute independence, which we misuse all the time. So because of that illusion, we don't know our real position, and unless we become free from the influence of these illusory energy, material energy, we will not be able to realize Krishna or I mean, none of us really look for a liberation, I guess, as devotees, but we cannot even consider that as our minimal understanding. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you. Puja Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I tried my best. Actually, I was getting disconnected. Our group was with Shweta Mataji and I think Prabhuji, Raghunath Prabhuji.
Okay.
I tried to draw something, Prabhuji. I'll just share.
Okay.
I think I have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, here it is, Prabhuji.
Okay.
So this is like I just tried to. It is from 6 to 8. So it says clearly that both the energies, that the spiritual energies and the material energy are both from Lord Krishna himself, and we are in the marginal energy, and Lord Krishna is like we are all on the string. All the planets and everything is like as the string on the all the pearls, and it is the Lord Krishna is himself is a string. Without Krishna, nothing is there. That all the planets, everything, it's like if a huge watermelon would be just thrown away and it will just lie down. But as it is, the support is Lord Krishna and everything is resting on Lord Krishna. He is the main support for everything. And then where all you can find Lord Krishna. So it is in the drop of water, that it is in the test of water. Then all the light is from of sun and moon are from Lord Krishna. So all the energies, so it is mainly saying about the energies, spiritual and imaginary and material energies, everything emanates from Lord Krishna himself. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So starting from the text number 4, Krishna is explaining about his energy. This is for our own benefit. Krishna is explaining so that we will be able to remember about him. If we want to remember of anyone, we should understand something about them. We should keep hearing something about them. Just like the gross example, people are very much attracted to the film actors, the cricket players. Why they always think about them? They always remember them because they got some attracted, some kind of players or some kind of acting, some kind of song. They get attracted and they keep thinking about that, and that itself will become their life. Here, Krishna is giving this knowledge about the energies. These energies are visible. We can perceive it. It is not something which is unperceivable or very difficult to understand. Krishna is explaining everything in such a way that it is all around us. So that examples he is giving. In the beginning, he make a list of 8 the inferior energies. In that, again, there are 2 parts. One is gross, other one is subtle. Both are inferior. And these elements are the elements with which our body is made. The entire creation is made. The bhumi, apo, analo, vayu, kham, mano, buddhir, evacha, ahankara. So these are the 8. So mana, buddhi, ahankara, they are the subtle, and the earth, water, fire, air, sky, or the ether, they are the gross elements. They all are the energy from the Lord. Everything is coming basically from the Lord himself. And next he is telling, this is itiyam me bhinna prakriti rashtrada, bhinna prakriti. Then in the 5th text, if you have Bhagavad Gita, you can open and see. Apareyam itastvanyam. Apare means beyond this, above this. Apareyam itastvanyam. Vidhime prakriti param. There is one more. What is that? Jiva bhuta. That is the living entity. Mahabaho yayedam dharite jagat. They are the living entities. They are called tatastha shakti, or the marginal potency. They are superior to the inferior energy. We are superior to the earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. The soul is much powerful than any of these things. Indriyani parani ahur indriyabhya paramanaha manasastu paro buddhi yo buddhe paratastu saha. That means the senses are greater than the body, the mind is greater than the senses, the intelligence is powerful than the mind, and the false ego, that is even more powerful than the intelligence. So this is the hierarchy. So Krishna is telling there are 2 kinds of energy. One is inferior, other one is superior. Etadyonini bhutani sarvani iti upadhaya aham krishnasya jagata prabhava pralayastata. So Krishna is creating all the creation and annihilation. But in the next shloka he is telling there is nothing beyond this. Only this much are there. If you know Krishna, if you understand Krishna, there is nothing remains to us to know about him, about anything else more than him. That is the matta parataram na anyat kinchid asti. Dhananjaya. Mai sarvam idam protam sutre maniganaiva. How is it? Because the Lord is present in such a way that he is like the thread in the garland. If we have a flower garland or the garland of a pearl, how important is the thread? If there is no thread, then the garland cannot remain. It cannot exist. But when you see the garland, the thread is not visible. Similarly, this material world, it cannot work if Krishna is not there. But if we see this material world, we can't see Krishna. He is like a hidden. Only an intelligent person or a person who is in knowledge, he will come to know that there is a thread within the garland. Without the thread, the garland is not possible to make. Similarly, a person who is in knowledge, he will understand that there is Lord's energy within this material world. Everything, whatever happening, it is all because of the Lord. And without the Lord, it is not possible. So this knowledge, one who has this knowledge, he will understand. And in the next continuation, 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th shloka, Krishna is explaining the same point there. How he is present. He is present as the taste of water, the light in the sun and moon. So these are the most important factors. If there is no taste in the water, we cannot drink it. And similarly, if there is no light, if there is no heat in the sun, then there is no meaning to it. So that very source of the energy or the factor is Krishna himself. Pranava Sarva Vedeshu. The most important part of all the Vedas, the Omkara, that itself is Lord. Shabda ke Paurusham, Shabda ke, that is the sound in the sky, that is the Lord. And Paurusham Rishuhu, the energy, the strength in the men, that is also the Lord himself. So this is Sutre Maniganaiva. This is how the Lord is present. If we want to know about the Lord, then we have to understand in this way. What is the root cause of this activity? What is the real cause for this process? How it is all happening? An intelligent person, one who is getting the knowledge from the right source, only he can understand this. Punyo Gandha Prativyam Cha, the fragrance of the earth. We have so many kinds of plants on the earth, but these plants, they give different kinds of flowers and fruits, and each flower and fruit, they have different fragrance, different taste. So how it is coming? It is all coming from the earth, but the earth, whatever the element is there, the fragrance is there, it is coming through the plant. So that is Krishna. Tejas Chashmi Vibhavasau, the effulgence in the fire. Jivanam Sarvabhuteshu, he is the life of everyone. Tapash Chasmi Tapashvisu, the austerity that we perform. Bijam Mam Sarvabhutanam, every living entity, the existence comes only because of the Lord. Vidhi Partha Sanatanam, Buddhi Buddhimatamasmi, Tejas Tejasvinamaham. The intelligence, the Tejas, everything is coming from the Lord himself. Balam Balavatam Chaham, he is the strength of the strong. Kama Raga Vivarjitam. Here Krishna is telling Kama Raga Vivarjitam. A person who is strong, what he has to do, he has to give the protection to the people who are in need of it. The person who is really strong is the one who gives protection, not the one who exploits them. So the person who gives the protection for others with whatever strength, that is the Lord. And Dharma Viruddha Bhuteshu Kamosmi Bharatarshava. The family life which gives birth to a devotee child, that is Krishna himself. So that is Krishna is telling here. Echaiva satvika bhava rajasas tamasaschaye matta eveti tan vidhi natvaham teshu te mayi. So why we are not able to see Krishna, that is being explained in the next coming text. Anybody like to read? They can raise their hand. Nandita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Even if you're not inclined to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then try to understand Krishna in this way. Either you drink milk or even you drink wine. So you have got some taste in any liquid thing while drinking. So Krishna says, Rasoham apsu Kaunteya. My dear Kaunteya, Arjuna, that taste in the liquid thing which you drink or use, that is I am. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So in this way, we can remember Krishna. We all drink water every day, so many times. So every time we drink water, we should remember as Rasoham apsu Kaunteya. Krishna has told. So in this way, we can remember Krishna always. Puja Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Just see how it is easily can be done. Nobody is without drinking something liquid, either Coca-Cola or water or this or that. Something must be drinking. So Krishna says that I am the test. So where is the difficulty of understanding Krishna? Bhagavad Gita 7.8, Bombay, February 23, 1974. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Prabhupada is giving the example whichever possible. So in the Western world, it is very common, not only Western, but at the time of Srila Prabhupada, he is giving the live example for all. The drinking of wine or drinking of Coca-Cola, even with that you can remember Krishna. The taste, whatever comes there, it is the Lord himself. Mai sarvam idam protam. That's how it is. Everything rests upon me. Sutre manigana iva. Anu Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Tribhir guna mayir bhavair ibahi sarvam idam jagat mohitam nabhi janati mam ibhya param avyayam. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Continue.
Deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. Bhagavad Gita 7.13.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So even though Krishna is everywhere, why we are not able to understand him? Because we are under three modes. We are in Sattva Guna, or we are in Rajaguna, or Tamoguna. So because of this goodness, passion, and ignorance, these three modes, we are not able to understand the Lord completely. Just like we have a colored glass, then we see the entire world as colored. So that color has to be removed. That means we should come out of these three modes, then only we can understand the Lord completely. But how difficult it is to come out of these three modes? Archana Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Daivi hesa gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mame vaye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Bhagavad Gita 7.14. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So in this way, Krishna is explaining how difficult it is to come out of the three modes. It is not so easy. But what is the process to come out of it? Surrender into Krishna. If we surrender to Krishna, we can come out of these three modes. Otherwise, it is not possible. These three modes, they are the energy of the Lord, and they are at the lower position. That means even though the superior energy of the Lord, the jivas, are under the control of the lower energy. Why? Because Krishna is the controller. Because Krishna has given the energy to those three modes, they are able to bind us. But now if we want to escape from them, or if we want to get released from them, then Krishna only have to order them to release. Then only we can come out of the three modes. We can see the examples of so many yogis, those who did a lot of tapasya, the austerity, but still they could not win their anger, the lust, greed, all these things. It will keep coming. But when they surrender to the Lord, when they take to the devotional service, easily these things can go away. So that is the power of surrendering to the Lord. That's why what Krishna is telling. Don't try to escape these three modes easily. It is not possible. The material energy, Durga is very powerful. Durga, another meaning for Durga means it's a fort. Durgati means Gati. You cannot cross over. It is so difficult to cross over it. That is the material world. So if you try to escape by yourself, you will be caught again and again. Either you will be caught by anger or lust or greed or anything else. Some way you will be caught. But if you surrender to Krishna, then there is no danger. You can easily pass through because Krishna has given protection. Krishna will take care. So this is the way how we have to cross over these three modes, and one can understand the Lord as he is. Even though Krishna is present in front of us, we cannot understand him because our vision is covered with the three modes. Now here we have two questions for all Why is the conditioned soul called Nitya Baddha? Nitya Baddha means eternally conditioned, always conditioned. Why is inferior material nature defined herein as divine nature? Daivi Esha Gunamayi Mamamaya Duratya. This energy, it is called as Daivi Prakriti. Divine, it is divine. And it is inferior. That is a second question. First question is telling why the living entity is called as Nitya Baddha. That means always entangled or always conditioned. Anybody has answer, they can raise their hand. You can try. Yeah, Archana Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. The first question, why is conditional soul called Nityabadha? Suppose we are desiring for one thing. So we are working very hard to achieve that thing. After we achieve that, again we are going forward, thinking more about the same thing. It would have been better if I would have done like that. So now it is first rank. I would have been state first if I would have done like that. So again my mind is going towards that only. So what happens when we are actually a conditioned soul? We go behind things. Though we reach some achievement, again we go behind the same thing. We think that we have to go more and more into it, so that we will become so great, but it's not going to happen, and always our mind is going to be engaged in that. That is the answer for the first thing, I feel, Prabhuji. The second one, I second one I don't know, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Mataji. Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Akhila Mataji.
Guruji, first I'll answer for second one, Guruji. In Mirabai's history, we'll come across about that poisonous seed. The poisonous seed converted into delicious and auspicious seed. Here, that poisonous seed, it is threat for the life, like inferior. When Bhagavanji comes into the picture, that poisonous or inferior got converted into superior or delicious, which is good for physical and mental, that is manasik or sharirik uddha, it increases. So like that, when Bhagavan Shri Krishna or Shri Vishnu, when he comes into the picture, the inferior gets converted into the divine nature. I think so. Then the first question, no, Prabhuji, we know the Sharira is Nashwara, still we are attached to it. And we'll get attached, and with that only, for to satisfy food, clothes, shelter, or anything, and through three modes of nature, or uncontrolled mind, make us to more and more attachment towards the material. I think that's why it is Nitya.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Anu Mataji.
Prabhuji, I think we are called Nitya Baddha because Baddha, in what I understand in Hindi, means bound.
Yes.
We are bound. Nitya matlab totally, every day we are bound by something. Yeah. So when we are bound, we are a soul and we are bound by something. So when we are bound, we are not ourselves. We are subject to certain conditions of our being bound. So that is meaning of Nitya Baddha for me. We are embodied. We are in some sort of prison. And why is inferior material nature defined herein as divine nature? Because the inferior material nature, its master is Vishnu. And only it is the one which is binding us to the material mode. It is not freeing us. But Lord is master of this divine nature. Master of this nature. So that nature also becomes divine. Because he's the master, she's acting on his instructions. So like when we go for Durga Puja, Mahishasur is also garlanded. And, he's revered because he died at the hands of Durga.
Yes, yes.
So here also, she's acting under his direction, shows she's bigger than us, shows she's divine. That's it.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Pooja Mataji.
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. As Anumataji said that the condition that it is a bound, but the Atma. So the soul is embodied. That means, if I understand correctly, that the person is in that embodied. That is, he is in still that I am body, I am not soul. So he is in that condition. And that condition, so like we say that if the raindrop is very transparent before getting it into the mud. So that is how we are. And it is when it gets into this under the influence of all this sattva rajatama, that all trigun, then it really gets entangled. The atma gets entangled in the material nature. So that is how it gets bound to, and we are gets conditioned to all these three modes of material nature. That is how I understand this. And the inferior nature, that is the material nature, as it's been, it is also by Lord Himself. So that is strong. That Mohamaya is also strong. So that is how we are actually. We need to remember Krishna. That is how we can go to Yogamaya. So the ball is in our court. As we are in the marginal energy, the ball is in our court. Whether we have to be in the spiritual, because qualitatively we are like Lord, but not quantitatively, as the salt water of ocean has been given. If it is being poured into the bucket, so it has the taste of ocean, but it is the quantitatively we are not like Lord. So we have to really be in that way. So as it is formed by Lord, the material energy is also known as divine. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Nandita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I just remembered the definition that you had given us a few classes ago. There are two types of us, Nitya Baddhas and Nitya Siddhas. So if we are not one, we are the other, and we are Nitya Baddhas only because we are living entities who are so contaminated, which answers the second question. We can turn the divine into demoniac. Hare Krishna Prabhu. There was one incident that I remembered, Prabhu. Even someone like a demigod like Indra can be under an illusion. I don't remember the story where it came. It came in the teachings of Queen Kunti, where he turns into a hog for some reason, and he actually starts enjoying being a hog, having a family, having piglets, and so bound by it that when Narad Muni comes and tells him that you are the king of the heavens, you are shirking your duty and responsibility. He's like, but I have a responsibility here to these piglets, and that we are like that level contamination we have. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yes. Once Indra got cursed and he had to become the pig. This Srila Prabhupada says this story. So Lord Brahma comes there after some time and asks him, the pig formed Indra, enough, you have to come back. You have to take care of the heavenly planets. Then the pig says, oh, how can I come? If I come with you, who will take care of my wife? Who will take care of all these piglets? I have to take care of all of them. I am enjoying here. I am happy here. I will not come with you. So this is how the person who is attached to the material world. The person who is at the higher understanding, they are able to see how pathetic is the condition. But one who is within that, he will not feel anything bad. He is always happy to be in that situation. That is one of the nature of this material world. In whatever condition we may be, whatever difficulty it may be, we don't want to come out of it. We just try to adjust there itself. So that, okay, I will be happy tomorrow. Today I may be a little suffering. Tomorrow I'll be okay. Tomorrow I'll be okay. Like that we keep going in search of the happiness. And it will never come. So the first answer, yes, everyone has told the right answer. That is Nitya Baddha. We are always eternally bound because there is hardly any chance for us to come out. There are a lot of opportunity Krishna has given, but we don't take it. We do little bhakti and we come back, and little benefit we get and we'll come back. So hardly there is any chance for us to come out of this material bondage. That's why we called as Nitya Baddha. Unless a Acharya comes and pulls out, otherwise we don't go out. We just be here. Acharya comes and he will shake us. Why are you staying here? Go back to Godhead. This is not the permanent place. You can't become happy here. Don't try Your entire life, if you try also, you will not become happy. So this is only by the mercy of the Acharya we can come out of this bondage. And why inferior material nature? The three modes are inferior, but still it's called as divine because Krishna has given the power. Krishna has empowered it. That's why it is able to bind us. Otherwise, these three modes, they are lower. They are inferior to us. But Krishna has made them the superior position that he has given. They are the supervisors. They are the people who are making the things to happen. As the soul, he desires so many things. These material nature will make it happen, as we learn in the next coming topics. The jiva cannot do anything. It is all done by the material nature. So he gets bound because he is attached to the result of the activity. So in this way, he is caught in this material world. Those who can want to read can raise their hand. Puja Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Krishna, being the Lord of the illusionary energy, can order this insurmountable energy to release the conditioned soul. He orders this release out of his causeless mercy on the surrendered soul and out of his paternal affection for the living entity, who is originally a beloved son of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Continue, Mataji.
Yeah. Therefore, surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord is the only means to get free from the clutches of the stringent material nature. 7.14 purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you. So this is the conclusion of today's class. Surrendering to Krishna is the only means to escape this cage, escape this material world. So we have to surrender to Krishna because the Maya, Mama Maya Duratyaya, one cannot escape otherwise by his own strength. So with this, we have come to the conclusion of today's chapter. Lesson 1, what are the objectives? Brief overview of 3 main sections of Bhagavad Gita and the connection between the 6th and 7th chapters, Maya Saktamana Yatatam Api Siddhanam. And then the Kaschin Mamveti Tattvataha. Tattvataha means it is Bhagavan realization. It is not the Brahman or Paramatma realization. Then examples of Krishna being the source of material and spiritual energies, that we have done the activities, and why conditioned soul is called Nitya Baddha, and with reference to the Sanskrit we have seen. Then why material nature is defined as herein as the divine nature. So these are the topics that we have discussed today. So finally, okay, anybody likes to read? You have to raise your digital hand. Okay, Nandita Mataji.
Sorry, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. The jurisdiction of Krishna consciousness extends everywhere, and one who knows Krishna consciousness is blessed. Those who do not know Krishna are an illusion, and so knowledge of Krishna is liberation, and ignorance of him is bondage. Purport 7.8. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Prabhupada has clearly explained here what is knowledge, what is ignorance. Knowledge means to know Krishna. Ignorance means not knowing Krishna. This is the very simple explanation for knowledge. So today we have come to the conclusion of this chapter. Anybody has any question, they can raise their hand and ask the question. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Anu Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I have a very stupid question. Please forgive me for asking. Okay.
Yes,
Prabhuji, always in the books it is written that king is above law. King can do no wrong. So Krishna can do no wrong. Okay. But there are procedures where kings have also been overthrown and the kings have been replaced. You know, it is just an example, I know. But like in Muslims, they say, I have nothing against anybody. They say this here in Sanatan Dharma, we say sense gratification is wrong. There they say Allah has given you senses to gratify them. Why should you control them? You know, are we in a business of, okay, I'm born here, so I'm ready to have faith in what I'm born into. And it is a better moral way of life. So that also I agree. It is more righteous, humanitarian, whatever. But they have a different thing. So are they replacing the king and making a king who would give them what they want? Are we replacing, impeaching the king?
Yeah. Okay. Shall I answer, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
And
very
sorry
good.
for me asking
No
it.
problem. This is very good question what you asked. So here, even if you see the government of India, as long as a person is in power, he will not be arrested. Either president or prime minister or chief minister. What they do first, they will ask them to resign. Have you observed this?
Yes.
The chief minister or the whoever person, he will be asked to resign to the governor or to whoever superior person. Once he resigns, he will be arrested. He will not be arrested when he is holding the power. This rule is there even in the present, whatever the democracy what we are having. So it is true, king is above the law. It is only as long as he is the king. If he is losing his king power, the power of king, then he is not above the law. So as long as the person is holding the position, in the earlier days there were monarchy and he will be always the king. So there is no question of him being arrested. If the king makes any mistake, he himself will undergo certain kind of eternity, prashchitta they will do, but there is no compulsion. He can overthrow it. Nobody can put the king behind the bar. If there is any mistake, then king himself has to accept it. Yeah, I have done this mistake. Okay, I'll do some atonement and I'll purify myself. That is possible. Otherwise, there is no person, somebody can punish him. So first of all, the king, power of the king will be removed. Then he will be put behind the bars. And why we have to we should not use the senses for gratification is like, if it is like I have something better to eat, why I should eat something inferior? When I'm capable of paying for more delicious food, why should I eat something low quality? The senses which they gratify, it is called very lower grade energy, low grade of enjoyment, enjoying the senses. But we have the higher taste. Param drishtva nivartate. Nobody can give up the sense gratification unless they have a higher taste. And when you have the opportunity to develop a higher taste, why can't you do that? Why you want to be within the lower modes only? If you continue to be there, then it is adi antavanta kaunteya. There is a beginning and end. You cannot become happy eternally. If you think, okay, I like gulab jamun, I will eat 100 of them. It is so nice. Then person will lose his health. But anandambudi vardhanam, the bliss that we get by performing devotional service, it is eternal. So do you want to enjoy the eternal happiness, or do you want to enjoy some temporary happiness? That is the only option. It is not the question whether I should not use my senses for gratification because these senses are given for gratifying only. Otherwise, I am simply wasting my time. It is not so. We had 84 lakh species of life, and in all these species of life, we have done the same thing. Ahara nidra bhayamaitunam cha. In none of these lifetime we have done anything good, and it is 100% sure that in none of these lifetime we have remembered Krishna at the time of death. This is 100% sure, because Bhagavad Gita is telling, if you remember me, you will come to me. So we have never remembered him. We have spent so many lifetime. This is one thing we take very lightly. Or remembering Krishna at the time of death. Okay, I will do at the time of death. But you realize that you have not done this so many millions of times. Understand the gravity of this sentence. So if you want to remember Krishna at the time of death, we have to do devotional service, not sense gratification. If you do sense gratification, we remember sense gratifying objects only. Then again, punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. This is like taking little discomfort for a higher benefit. Like a small student, he will take little bit discomfort of reading books and studying, and he will get the degree and he will become more prosperous in his life. That is the definition for austerity. Voluntarily accepting difficulties for something, getting something better. That's why we have to reduce or stop sense gratification. The best way to stop the sense gratification is to use the senses in the service of the Lord. Hrishikena Hrishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. Then everything becomes purified. Hope this answers your question, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. The ideology of every faith are very dramatically opposite.
The science of God is always same. If you say 1 + 1 = 2 in India or America or in Russia, it is all same. Science is same. Prabhupada has given the spiritual science, and it has to be same everywhere, irrespective of the religion, caste, creed, the place, everything. Everyone has to follow.
Maybe, but Abrahamical religions have a different.
Okay, Mataji. No need to take anybody's name here. The border doesn't matter. When Prabhupada was preaching, he has preached. When he was preaching, he acted like the president of the universe. Prabhupada never saw where he is preaching. He has spoken the truth everywhere, and the fact is fact. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Nandita Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I think we must all read Prabhupada Lilamrit, Prabhu. It's
Yes,
so enlightening and so touching. You know, I mean, it's wonderful. Even if we read a little bit every day, it really, I mean, you will just realize he is not even human. We can't even call Prabhupada. He's truly divine and sent by Krishna.
Yeah.
Prabhu, I just had one question in text 8. We speak so much about the personal impersonalists and impersonalism. And here it says, I've read it, but I just wanted you to clarify this. It says no conflict between personalism and impersonalism, and it's simultaneously present and there is no contradiction. Can you please explain that Achintya Bheda and Abheda Tattva, Prabhu?
Yeah, the word Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva begins with the word Achintya, and Achintya means inconceivable. The sentence itself is telling it is inconceivable. One cannot understand it completely. So Achinta, then it says Bheda and Abheda, present and not present. The Lord is there and he is not there. That is the meaning there. So it is explained by Srila Prabhupada by taking the example of the king. The king makes the law, and according to the law, entire state will be governed. So in one sense, the king is there everywhere. His law is acting everywhere. But at the same time, king has his own palace also. He has his own children, his own wife, his own family. That is also there. He has his own pastimes. So in one way, the power of the king is omnipresent everywhere throughout the state. And another way, he has his own personal life. So this is the way we have to understand. He is present everywhere as omniscient, omnipresent. And he is not there as a person. It's like I have done something wrong and I get some reaction for that. Who made that reaction to happen? The Lord has made. He is a remote cause. But I cannot say that the Lord has made me all these things. Because you have made it, you brought the reaction. And that reaction has been brought by the law of the Lord. He is the fundamental truth. He is the remote cause. But we are the immediate cause. If a person steals, if a thief steals, he will be put behind the bar. Now, who is the cause of him to be behind the bar? He himself. He can't say that the Prime Minister or the Supreme Court has made the law that every thief has to be put behind the bar. That's why I am behind the bar. If there is no Supreme Court, then nobody can arrest me. So my suffering is because of the Supreme Court. So this is a foolish argument. But the power of the court is everywhere throughout the state. So in that way, Krishna's power is everywhere. This is the gross way of understanding, but otherwise also the Lord is present in each and every atom. That is his inconceivable energy. He is present in our heart. Each and every person's heart also he is present in the form of Paramatma. In that way, he is present everywhere. But that is not the complete form of the Lord. Because complete form is Bhagavan. That is present, he is present in the Goloka Vrindavana. But as a partial energy of him, he is present in the heart of everyone. And he does some specific job only at that point. One is Anumanta Upadrishta. That is, he is the overseer and he is a sanctioner. And he is also acting as a Chaitya Guru. That means he will guide us. When a person tries to come to spiritual life, he will guide from the within. He will give the intelligence. But very specific activity he will do. Just like some avatar of the Lord, the incarnations of the Lord, they do very specific job and they go away. Like Narasimha came, he killed the Hiranyakashipu and he finished his this Leela or the Avatara. But there are certain places where Krishna, he has done all the activities. He has killed the demons, he has given the knowledge to Arjuna, and he has pastimes in Vrindavana. His complete energy he is showing. So that complete energy showing, that is the personal life. And this is specifically he comes and does the activity. There he will show only a portion of his energy. So in all this way we can understand, but still, and on top of that, this is Achintya. Achintya means inconceivable. This philosophy itself begins with the word inconceivably one and different. So to whatever extent to our intelligence allows, whatever our surrender is there by the mercy of the Lord and Guru, we can understand this philosophy.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. If there are no more questions, then we'll stop here for today. And in the next week, we'll continue with the second part of the seventh chapter. I thank all the devotees for coming today's class and actively participating in the discussion. Thank you. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Thank you.